All right. Just for Mystic and Ray. All right, I'll start it early. Welcome everybody to Friday Live and Mail Call. And as always, all right. You guys happy now? All right. I know you just can't wait for Friday Live, huh? Anyway, so let me take a look here. Lynn is going to try to join us. He's not sure whether he can or not. So, but we do have my sidekick with me today. Rocket. Hey, John.
Good morning, all, and I see my camera is still not working correctly. And I'll turn this bright light off here in a second. I'm almost finished painting, so yeah. One last door.
All right.
Yeah. So, how
So
you been?
I've been just peachy. I've got a few items that I've collected this week, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, my hat is always psychedelic on StreamYard for whatever reason. When I look at it on my regular software, it's fine, but I look at it on StreamYard and it does the psychedelic look to it. Now, to battle that, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but one of my mail call items is nope, that's even
I
worse.
knew that.
It has wider stripes. I didn't think it would be as bad. So, but
Oh,
I
I
did get
frozen. Ah, there we go.
a new engineer's hat, and of course it doesn't have anything on the front. So I went ahead and got a Burlington
All
route
right.
patch. All right, so now I just have my wife's going to find one of the church ladies with a sewing machine to put that on.
Oh, just hand stitch it on. That's all I do.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. What's the
I
matter?
don't.
You can't sew?
No, I don't hand stitch. So
Okay. Well, mine, if mine doesn't freeze, mine are all hand stitched on. Well, stupid camera.
all right. Well, you guys, you're shamed me into it, Jason, with the saying that Cumbries and Toltec wasn't appropriate. So I had to get a new hat, and you got cut off mid sentence with the Burlington patch on it. So anyway, uh,
Well,
let's go. Let's
it,
go ahead and do our roll call. And let's see. Hot Dog Pilot Andy was first in, followed by Grandpa Rails and Jason. Mystic John was in there as well.
oh, John?
Yeah, and
Never enough Johns.
never enough. And speaking of never enough, John Schuylkill River Valley is with us, and uh, you know what we haven't haven't done for John lately, right? Because every day is John's birthday. All I have to do is find it.
And hi.
There it is. There you go. That was for you, John. And Dave at Scott Rails has joined us this morning. And I thought I saw Michael McCarville as well. Didn't I see Michael? Mr. Baby Buggy.
Yeah, you can't even say it.
Buggy Baby Bumpers.
Baby bumper, yes.
Didn't I see him? Ray Bertelson is with us.
I don't know. I just turned my chat on, so I'm not sure.
And Joe Rader was here on time. He snuck in. Hi is with us. And of course, if Hi is with us, our
mascot's
with us too.
Yeah.
So, our mascot. There he is.
Ollie.
Ollie. I like the picture on the pillow. What's he chewing on? Some kind of chew stick, or is that the leash?
I think that's a big cigar.
I don't know. It might be the leash, and he's wanting to go for a walk. I can't tell. All right. So Ollie is with us, and
Bernard just came in.
Bernard, there he is.
Yeah.
I swear I saw Michael McCarville somewhere. Maybe not. All right. Anyway, so you're getting ready to go on a cruise, right?
Yes, I am. We'll be leaving next Thursday for Florida.
So next Friday, if everything works out, you're gonna do a special remote shot from
a yet to be named location.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna try to be at Zitnik's Trains in Pinellas Park, Florida.
Yeah.
Which is my still my favorite hobby shop or train store. They have done an expansion, and I haven't seen them yet. Since I was there last November. They had started it, but they haven't finished yet. What's that?
Okay. Are they going to have 2 aisles of HO?
Oh no, they're going to have like 4 aisles of HO.
And there's Anthony Dodge, our model train insider.
And their shelving system is twice as high. Hopefully they moved all the good stuff off the floor. I hated getting down on the floor trying to read the tags.
Our old parts can't do that.
Yeah.
So Anthony Dodge, I don't know if you guys watch his channel, but he's been working on damn, did I lock up?
No, you're
oh, okay, I'm moving. All right.
Yeah.
Anthony Dodge has been working on grass and stuff, and his layout is really starting to pop. I mean, it was always nice, with all the trains and everything, but now he's doing a lot of grass work. So everybody pop on over and see him this afternoon in his live show. So what have you done this week? Anything?
Well, yeah, but not what I intended to do.
What were you painting?
I was painting. Where'd it go? Oh,
I
here.
give up.
This is the Princeton CNEI train station that I bought probably 4 months ago. And one night I couldn't sleep, so I painted the windows. But then today I repainted the windows because I didn't like the yellow. So I went to just a cheap craft paint, the Sunset Yellow by Apple Barrel, and I like it. It's like a mustard color. I like it better. And then the rest of the building's going to be a dark green.
I learned a
Um,
full lesson this week in painting. I use a lot of Vallejo paints for my air gun.
mhm,
When I was doing my Riverside Transfer Heath box cars, of course, I used the Tamiya colors, and um, Tamiya you thin by using isopropyl. Okay,
mhm.
and I loved it the way it worked as compared to Vallejo using the reducer, the thinner reducer that they have.
Mhm.
Because as you spray Tamiya that's been thinned with alcohol, it's coming out so thin out of the airbrush that the isopropyl is evaporating and the
As it's good. Yeah.
so the pigment's what's hitting on the car. So you don't get overly liquid onto whatever you're painting, and then
Mhm.
you avoid a lot of the runniness. Okay,
Mhm.
so the other day you may recall, Lynn had given me a whole bunch of his mini prints
Mhm.
2 or 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
I was priming them, and I said, "Huh, I wonder. Let's go ahead and use some IPA on as thinner for this Viejo primer." And don't do that. That's the best advice I can give is don't do that. It thickens it. It turns it into a glob in the jar in the reservoir. Then you got a mess to clean. So for Viejo, stick with their primer. Um,
Yeah.
but I think I'm going to be switching more and more to Mia. I just love the way it went on as compared. I mean, I have good luck with Viejo. It's a different style of airbrushing or methodology,
Mhm.
and I really liked the Tamiya with the IPA. Pretty much, it thins it down, but yet it comes across as thick pigment for what's being sprayed, but
Mhm.
it's thin coming out of the airbrush, so it
You
sprays
know,
good.
I I've used Tamiya for oh decades. I never liked brushing with it.
Yeah, I don't plan on doing that.
It seems to be a paint that it's really made for airbrushing over painting. I haven't found that I like it. I'd rather use a craft paint for brushing on
And that's what I
than
do
I
too.
would
I use
paint.
crap paint for brushing.
So it's I guess you just got to learn. I'm sure I'm just doing it wrong, but no, it's yeah,
Those,
black horse. Yeah.
yeah, the Tamiya panel lines are really good from what I've seen. I haven't used it. My black wash or panel line. I use a real thin India ink. So
Yeah, I need to get some India ink. I haven't. I used to use that decades ago when I was doing my military models, my tanks that I always would build as a kid. So, that's getting to be about a half a century ago here soon.
I always the brush uh, and testers. And if I sprayed
Yeah.
anything, testers cans. So
No, I at that time I used Humbro
I
paints.
don't even,
It came in the little tiny round cans. They were excellent paint. I could only get it, and they can still get it in Europe. So I'm sure that High knows what Humbrol paints are.
there was
Um,
another little jar model paints. I can't remember for the life of me the brand other than Testers that I used to use a lot of for painting my slot cars.
Mm.
So, anyway,
Yeah, I can't remember that, but I know that, and then Testers came out with the Model Masters. That was great paint. That was in a taller can, but it covered first coat every time. And
I was
yeah,
surprised to find dull coat, Testers dull coat at Hobby Lobby.
mm, you know, I
Anthony
just
Dodge says that the Humbrol
it's a
is UK.
yeah,
Patrick,
I do believe it is made in the UK, but it's prevalent in Europe. Not as much in the United States anymore. I can't tell you last time I saw somebody selling it in the US.
just as a
But it's definitely
geography lesson, the UK is part of Europe.
yes. Well, but yeah, I know that. But I mean, over Europe, I know the hobby shop that I went in, Bad Kissingen, West Germany, back when it was West Germany. Uh, it had a full line of it. I made some models while I was in Germany. There wasn't much else to do, so.
Yeah.
But I always kick myself. There was a train store in downtown Bad Kissingen, and oh, do I wish I would have bought some trains from there, especially when our exchange rate was good, 4 marks to the dollar. But it, yeah, Revell, that was no model paint. Don't see that much in the U.S. anymore either. So,
Yeah, it used to be an American company.
mhm.
They let's see, they bought Monogram, or Monogram bought them. I can't remember which way it went. And then somebody else, Revell went out of business, and somebody else bought the name. And I can't remember who it is. But they don't.
Yeah.
I don't think you can find anything anymore.
That's it's strange how the model paint stores have gone out of business, or companies that have gone out of business. Like, didn't Polyshades go out of business too?
I don't know.
That was another one that had a lot of,
If it wasn't
was that?
Testers, I didn't know what it was growing up.
Okay. Okay.
I think I saw some Revell sets of paints as well. But when you went to
Yeah.
a hobby store, it was all Testers. So,
Yeah.
and then Tamiya came in. I was before
Hmm.
Tamiya.
And when it first came out, I tried it, and I didn't like it. Of course, I didn't airbrush back then either. Um, I had some friends that had gotten some of the first generation airbrushes, and of course, they did military models also, and they had some great paint jobs with those with the airbrushes. But I can tell you firsthand, when I painted our tanks in Germany, we used a brush. So the brush look is more correct. For yeah, that's better, Steve. You were freezing.
Yeah,
I got my
I hit the
I got
wrong
my
camera.
camera fixed.
I hit the wrong camera.
But I gotta go get some more coffee. I'll be right back.
All right, cool beans. So yeah, there's on YouTube, or I saw a documentary about American model industry, and it centered on Monogram, Revell, Aurora, and how they the rise and fall, so to speak. And Revell had bought Monogram, and then Aurora was in there, and I don't remember the whole thing, but I knew another company had bought out what was left, and it must have been Quantum Capital. So, and I don't know where they're located, but back in the day, those were all American model companies.
That Aurora. I can't
Yep.
remember.
You had Aurora, Monogram, and Revel. AMT was a car. They did cars.
Aurora did some tank models back then in 1/72nd scale, which always had full interior details. They never made them in 1/35th scale, which is what I always modeled. But I tell you what, there were some quality models back then. And, with today's technology, I could just imagine what they're like. You can get all kinds of metal etched kits for.
There were crappy models back then, too.
Oh, yeah. The monograms were.
Yeah, monograms left a lot to be desired, but Lindberghs were the worst.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, that is true.
I don't know what kind of plastic injection they did, but I mean, it was real flimsy and everything warped, and it's just terrible. Mm-hmm. And I found one of their kits a couple of years ago to make my Mississippi River towboat with, and I had help making that. So.
Yeah, but that turned out pretty good, Steve.
Yeah, it did. But it didn't make the move very well. I'll have to rebuild it.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes.
Yeah,
you can get all kinds of. They still sell all kinds of ship model detail kits.
Yeah, they're all old. They're all old stock. Because
because no one's making them now. But yeah, it's. I remember one time I had a 1/35th scale Hughes class destroyer escort. This thing was about 5 foot 6 inches long, and I found all kinds of metal pewter pieces to do the door hatches and everything. It was a scratch built model. It was pretty neat.
As far as tariffs go, John, most places have a good stock of stuff, and stuff coming out of China really hasn't we haven't really been hit with the tariffs yet because inventory levels are still available. I did get a speed pack out of China last week, and there was no tariff, or I didn't have to pay a tariff on it. So you probably won't start seeing tariffs, on model railroad stuff for a few more weeks at least. And I am suspecting that when it's all said and done, and the tariffs, stuff out of China, etc. I got one thing on pre-order and it's not due until December, so I'm not sweating it. Anything else I can pretty much wait to buy. Not sure about the DCC decoders and computer chip type stuff. I would suspect they still have an ample supply of things, and it all depends on where it's coming into the United States at too, as far as what the tariffs are. I don't know how they will track component parts within something. So it'll take time to flush out. So
I think I heard I was watching one YouTube, and I can't remember which one it was, but they were discussing the different manufacturers of model railroad that it sounds like they're pretty much going to eat any tariff that comes in.
Well, they won't. If it's coming out of China, they won't be able to eat it. All right. There's a model. Scale Trains did a industry video. You can go to Scale Trains and see it, but it had Walthers, representative from Walthers and Cato and Rapido and Atlas and I forget who all else. But anyway, and they were talking about how tariffs will kill them because they can't move the business to the United States. And newsflash, folks, if it can be made in China, it can be made in the United States. All right. Can they make it right away? No. Will some of the businesses, if tariffs go long term at the high levels they're at, will they go out of business? Yes, they will. But everybody's the sky is falling, and I'm always one that sits back, evaluates what's going on, and there's a timeline to everything. And I think the tariff issues will all be settled within the next 6 weeks. All right. That's just my opinion. So, and it won't be what everybody is screaming about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. JG just said in chat that saw that that China is cutting tariffs.
Exactly. They're economically, they're in a much worse situation than we are. And whether you like, I don't want to talk about politics, but you almost have to talk about politics if you're going to talk about this. Trump's a deal maker. All right. And you never know what he is doing, whether that is to do that and that is his goal, or whether he's doing that to get this. Okay. And you just got to wait and see how it flushes out. And because what you see may not be what you're going to, it may not have anything to do with what he actually wants to get done. So anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Great Northern 70, by the way, welcome. And you're absolutely right. They don't have the proper production set here. They have the ability to. All right. You can cut dyes just as easily here as you can in China. You can do injection molding just as easily here as you can do in China. You can do pad printing just as easily here as you can do in China. All right. You just have to, everybody made the investment to move it out of the United States. All right. And it's a matter of whether they want to make the investment to move it back. And will they have the time necessary to do it? And that's where the gist of it is. They won't have the time frame to do it.
Yeah.
Before they run out of money to try to do it, because they're small business versus large business. Anyway, here or there, let's get away from that subject. And yeah, Bernard, China is getting hammered a lot more than we are. We're I would challenge almost anybody to find where tariffs are affecting us directly right now. All right.
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen.
What I've seen that's affected more than anything is the price of eggs.
Down.
Yeah. Well, I've got my own chickens. So when they were going up to $10 a dozen, I didn't care about that. It didn't affect me because I was getting more eggs than I could actually eat, and was giving them to neighbors and friends. So, and I only got 5 hens, but they were producing some eggs. They were.
But anyway, let's get back to Model Railroad stuff.
Yes, I did get one mail order this week.
What'd you get?
It wasn't much of anything. I've got my I'm working on all my military train stuff. A few weeks ago, I showed my my bridge tank that I'm adding to the line of cars. But I've got a bunch of flat cars that don't have U.S. Army on that I have to go ahead and paint and get them decals. So I ordered, and you probably won't see this too well. You
Yeah, we can
can't
see it.
see the white ones at all, but I
No, we
got
can see the U.S. Army.
numerous different scales of U.S. Army. None of them had 135th or 187 scale only on them, but hey, I found these. I'll use them. Um,
Sure.
I I wish I could print white, but I can't print white, so I
No.
do have to order them. So I did order two sets of those, and I will, when I have spare moment, when the wife doesn't have a chores for me to do, I'll get working on that too. I did find something else on eBay that I really want to get, and it wasn't anything that was on the U.S. didn't have it. They were the Germans took an M48 A1 and turned it into a combat engineer vehicle, which had a dozer blade on it and a bunch of extra stuff on it. But it wasn't ever produced in the U.S. They just modified existing U.S. Tanks. So I may get one anyway because it looks so neat. And it would go along with my bridge tank because the bridge tank was also a combat engineer vehicle. So I may get that if I get any things the U.S. didn't have. Well, you know what? It's my railroad. So it looks neat, but I'm just concerned with it. It's a cast resin model. It's $35 for the thing, and but the pictures they're showing of what it is on the strewn is it's not showing all the parts, and I'm concerned about, okay, what does this really look like? And by the way it looks, I'm gonna have to do a lot of prep work on it. Even worse than what I did on the bridge tank. I must have worked, and that was one of those Roku models. But boy, the flashing on that was just horrendous, and I can't imagine what it'd be like on this one I'm looking at. But it's an M48A1 CE2 is what the model number of the tank is, and I think I'll just I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I have to get it when my wife won't know I got it. Of course, after the cruise, I'm open to buy things again. So, she didn't know about the decals, and she said, "Well, what's this from eBay?" Oh, it's just a little something I ordered. Uh, don't worry, honey. They were only $5.95 a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
my wife always gives me the eagle eye when Amazon something comes in the mail.
yeah. But she's still a good woman. I'm glad I found her.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good morning, Lynn, on the LA shuttle.
Yes.
Lynn
Yes.
headed
Hope
down to
everything's
LA.
going well, Lynn.
Yep, yep.
Um.
And anyway, I got a couple more things. Um, in my cabinets that I have all over, I've put those racks with, as an example, a rack, and it's got 5 of these drawers,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got 2 on my right hand side down here, and I got 2 more in the cabinet back on the other workbench. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I got to thinking. All right.
Uh-oh. He's thinking.
Yeah, 4 of the 10 drawers that I have over here down below, are drawers for Chicago 1, Chicago 2, Aurora 1, and Aurora 2, which are locations within my JMRI for the layout. That when I bring cars, rolling stock off and on, that, you know, where they come from or go to. So I got to thinking, and if I put another set of drawers over here, over there, all right, I would have a set of drawers that I'd have places on each end of the layout that I could just bring out and set them up when I'm doing sessions. So I went ahead and from Lowe's and got another 5-drawer rack. And let me pull this out of here, maybe. There we go. Of course,
Oh, so it has the rack with it.
yeah. All right, and there's casters in one of these drawers that they'll roll.
Mm.
I don't use the casters. I got them in a different drawer over there. So I'll get that set up today. And that is can never have enough drawers. And, yeah, and Len, you know what I forgot? What we forgot last week? We forgot to show your 3 pictures and or 4 pictures that you had sent. So I think what I will do is see if I can find those. And where are they? Well, all right. So these are the pictures that I was supposed to show for Lynn last week. All right.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the ones that Lynn had in their last train show. Yeah,
He did.
Up in there, yes.
And as you look right here, there's it almost looks like a gunfight getting ready to happen.
Why don't you make your screen large, Steve?
Okay.
Sorry. There you go. That's better.
So I can make it a little bit larger. And some more of it. There's the gunfighters.
Neat, yeah.
I think the guy on the right has a badge on.
Yeah, it looks like they're on his lapel of his vest. He's got a silver star.
Yep. So anyway, those are the pictures I was supposed to show for Lynn last week that we ran over. Yes, they were. Lynn. Oh, that one. And then I got started too. So anyway, here nor there. Put your hands up, bum. Careful there, Andy. I almost said put your hands up your bum. So,
yeah.
All right, Lynn's taking off. The shuttle's taking off. He'll lose his connection. And I got one other package. From Iron Planet.
Ah, okay.
So we probably know what that is.
Decoders?
What do you think?
Decoders.
What kind?
Digitrax.
Nope.
Nope. Oh no. You spent the
I
big bucks, huh?
Yeah, I after that last install in that SD 7 Blackbird,
Mm.
I was so impressed with the soundtracks. Oh, I got a sticker or a postcard.
Hmm.
And I was so impressed with that soundtrack Tsunami 2 that I went ahead and got another one. The other one was plug and play. All right, this one's not. I have to hardwire this in, but this is going into the GP7,
Okay.
the one that had a plug and play, and then you remember I talked about the sound bug that plugged into it that took me forever to find. Anyway, the sound is so faint on it, you can't hear it. So I wanted to get Tsunami too. And I've got one more package I have to wait for. Yes, Mystic, they still have the Heath discount. Human is the code, of course. And it's 10%. Hey, Dwight, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, good to see you, or see your text, Dwight. We'll see you, but yeah.
And but the other package I'm waiting for, and it hasn't arrived yet, is from Scale Sound Systems. So they make a specific speaker
box. Yeah.
for that. Yeah. And so I'm going to put one of theirs in. And because Tsunami 2s are 2 amp or 2 watt,
They're 2 watt.
Yeah, they're 2 watt amplifiers on these. So you either have to turn your master volume down in half or add a second speaker. Either or works. But if you if you do the halfway on the master volume and you forget, never crank it up, you're gonna have issues. So
yeah,
I've got a micro Soundtrax micro speaker that I'll find a spot to throw in there, not for the sound, just to make sure I've got the right impedance. But in the package from Iron Planet, I did get some Digitrax stuff, and I'll probably never order another Digitrax decoder. All right, anything new will be Soundtrax, unless it comes installed with a Loc Sound, because I'll take those two. I may even try a TCS Wow Sound, because when I learned that Keep Alives or power extenders or Stay Alives or whatever you want to call them, capacitor packs, on Digitrax decoders only work for the sound and not for the motor. That was disheartening to me. Now, what I will do is I will buy the Digitrax capacitor packs. All right, what they call power extenders, and these have the 2-prong plug, and they plug right in to the Tsunami 2, and they work. So I figured that out on the SD7. All right. So all I should have to do is plug in. So let's open up.
This is a major change for you, Steve.
It is. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to change overnight. All right. It'll be this GP7 that I'm going to work on is the worst sounding I have. And so it gets replaced first. And no wonder I couldn't get into this. It's not open. I just want to double check to make sure, because all the literature and my research says it should plug in. And if it plugs in, it works, because it worked on the other one. All right. So.
Yeah, don't you just have to? There's a little place where you have to cut the shrink wrap.
Yeah, I have to cut the shrink wrap right here.
Yeah.
All right. And then the power extender capacitor pack will plug right into it. And I went ahead and I bought 3 power extenders.
So now, just a question: what did the price difference between the Digitrax and your wiring Tsunami 2 cost? What was the difference of price? You don't have to say the exact price, but
I don't mind saying the exact price.
Yeah.
And because I already did that cost comparison last summer. The Digitrax SDX H167, all right, which came with a speaker, okay, cost $46, $48, something like that.
Okay.
I believe under 50 or 50, give or take. The Tsunami 2, all right, this little baby here was 107. And these are with the discount codes, but no tax or postage or anything like that. They're not the fully landed cost. But this does not come with a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
But the speakers that come with the Digitrax are crap. All right.
Yeah, they're not real great.
No, and they're tinny and everything else. So for this GP7, the Scale Sound System speaker that I ordered for it was $17. Yeah, Bernard, the Keep Alive on Digitrax decoders only works for the sound. Okay. The capacitor, a Digitrax power extender plugged into a Tsunami 2 works on the motor and the sound. Okay. Hey, Digger. That's why, to me, if you're going to use a power extender, I want it for the motor. I want it to get across bad track sections or across switches and things like that. I'm not really worried as much about the sound as I am the motor control. So anyway, getting back to the cost, $107 for this, $17 for the Scale Sound, 1 Scale Sound speaker. Okay. So you're looking at $125 versus $50. So over double the price.
Mm-hmm.
The sound's a hell of a lot better. All right. Hell of a lot better. I've demonstrated that before.
And Jason would agree with you on that.
I think everybody would agree.
Well, yeah, I do too.
Digitrax is nice to have sound. Don't get me wrong. All right. And the switch to Tsunami 2 wasn't as much for the sound as it was for total performance. All right. So I tried it. I liked it. So now I'm doing it. Now, that's it. Like I said, I'm not going back and redoing my whole roster, I will take selective engines that I like to run the most and change those over. As an example, I still have those two E8s, Proto 2000 new old stock E8s that I never put decoders in. So the speaker that's coming from Scale Sound Systems has two sets of dual speakers for Proto 2000 E8s. So that the next purchase from Iron Planet, whenever that will be either one or two more of the Tsunamis to put in those E8s. But I'm not in a hurry, all right, because
And Steve, you remember my two RS1s that had the great sound, and then I had the other two that just had Digitracks in them. Something like that, I may go ahead and change over to the Tsunamis because the sound of the two RS1s is far superior to the two that don't have the they don't have Tsunamis. They have local.
Now, one of the things I'm going to do, John, those 167s have the Alco diesels sounds. And in my cow-calf, I got room to put a Scale Sound System speaker on that Digitrack so that I can see the sound difference. And so I'll probably try that as well because I can at least hear those SWs. I can barely hear the sound bug. I mean, I really have to listen to it. If there's any other noise in the room, I can't even hear it. So that's why I'm switching out.
And I think if you change the speaker in it, you're going to increase your sound quality. Because I've done that on some of my Digitracks. I've put in some of the micro speakers, and it sounds better.
On the GP, I've got a Sugar Cube. I'm not using the one that was with Digitracks. So it just doesn't have the amplification that it's an abortion. It's not a 167 to begin with. It's not the premium sound. It's cheap sound. It's an 8-bit instead of 16-bit. Hey, Ray Bobel. So that's the reason for it. I mean, I still have 3 GP35s, 3 SD45s, and I can't count how many other E units I have, all with Digitracks in them. So I'm not going to touch those. Like I say, until I get the shed layout where it's running, I don't even have to worry about it. I just figured if I'm ordering the speaker for the Scale Sound Systems for the GP, I might as well go ahead and order the dual speakers for each of the E8s that I have to put a decoder in eventually. Because they'll be the next decoders. So
and with the size of my engine fleet, I'd go broke trying to change them all over. I've got a lot of Digitracks, especially in some of my steam engines. I've got like 30 of the 282 Mikados. I'm not going to go through all 30 of them and change out and put Scale Sounds and the Soundtracks decoders in them. They're fine the way they are because I doubt I ever run them all at the same time. I like them, so I got a bunch of them. I got them for great deals. Some of them I paid $25 for. How can you beat that?
I have no regrets about starting out with the Digitrack. And like I said, I'll have Digitrack the Digitrax decoders for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on engines that, aren't going to be part of my regular routine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm trying to cut away this shrink wrap
Yeah, there's
gently.
supposed to be a little plug receiver in there.
It's in there.
Yeah.
It's in there.
I don't know what shrink wrap they use, but it's some of the toughest shrink wrap I've ever seen.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's thick. So I tell you, you've done a tsunami?
Yes,
Soundtrack?
I've got some tsunamis in some
I
of my engines. Yeah.
did not know.
My oh yeah, I do have a few. I broke down and bought them. One that my daughter got me at oh oh shoot, I can't even remember the name of the engine now. But anyway, I put a soundtrack decoder in there. But that was prior to me knowing about the 2 amp for the or 2 watts for the speaker, and I blew the speaker. So yeah, don't put in a single speaker in those and not cut your sound down. So believe me, it will blow the speaker. So yeah, I still have to redo that. That's over in my cabinet in one of my drawers where I've got to redo it. Um, Along my whole list of things I have to do, like clean up my training room again. It's a mess again. I don't know how it gets so messy. Yep,
Can you
there it is. Yep,
see
we
those?
can see it.
So,
Unless you're on a cell phone, you can probably see it. Yes.
yep. No, I'm talking. This is Tsunami 2. Bernard, this is Tsunami 2. See? Tsunami 2.
Mm-hmm. So what he's talking about, Bernard, is using the Digitrax power extender, whatever they call theirs,
Power extender.
power extender.
This is the
And
108-2, which the dash 2 means it's got a 2-prong plug on it. And that plug fits the Tsunami 2s because I did it on my SD7. This is for my GP7.
and Andrew just joined us. Shortbread
Hello.
Express.
Hello, Andrew. Welcome. There it is. I like that. See?
Yeah, plugs right in. Very good.
So, but I can't install it yet because I don't have the speakers. They're due. They shipped yesterday. They're supposed to be here Monday. Even though I bought them last weekend, I think it's a secondary business for this guy, and so I think he only ships once a week.
Mm.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know, I've looked through his website, and sometimes I just can't find the speaker. He doesn't have everything, but he's got a lot of the more common stuff. Unfortunately, some of my stuff isn't common, so
I don't think he's got a couple different generic ones
mhm.
that you can use that aren't specific to a given locomotive. That, for instance, an Athearn Blue Box, they're almost all the same. Okay, so you could use one of his generics across multiple engines. So,
Yeah.
but I like the fact that he's designed the baffles for to fit specific engines in a specific manner.
And I think he is a sound engineer or works in the sound industry. So yeah,
Right.
he's got the knowledge to be able to
I
get
think
the sound he does.
I first heard of him on What's Neat This Week.
Yes,
Uh,
that's what I heard.
and when George from Soundtracks said, "Yeah, that's all. These are the only speakers he uses." I'm going. Oh. When the head, not the head guy, but when the rep from Soundtracks likes scale sound speakers over Soundtrack speakers, pretty good referral.
Yeah.
So endorsement.
Yes, that is.
So, well, John, we are right at 1 hour. So
Very good.
we'll wrap this thing up. And hopefully by next Friday, I will have this installed.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll do is I'll do a recording of it beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll make sure all the mic levels and everything will be the same. And then we'll do a run by with this at the same level, or at least play a video at the same level, and see how that works out. May have it for Workbench Wednesday. It all depends on if it comes in Monday. It's kind of pushing it. So
very good. And I will hopefully have a live stream from Zitnik.
that will be cool.
And,
Jason wants to join us, but the Strawberry Festival is going on, so he couldn't park at his normal spot. But he was in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so all right, everybody. Well, make sure y'all have a great day and enjoy your weekend. We'll
Take
see y'all
care,
later.
everybody. Bye now.
That's my line.